Hello, welcome back. So, in the previous session, we have discussed how we can infer new functional dependencies given a set of functional dependencies, right? Using a set of rules, we have a set of axioms or inference rules IR1 through IR6. Okay, now we will see what is closure and equivalent set. So, all these things are required for relational database design using that design by synthesis approach. Okay, top-down approach. So these are the contents of this session. We will see what is closure and we will see an algorithm to find the closure of attributes. Then what's cover and equivalent set. Coming to the first definition, that is closure. So closure of a set F of functional dependencies is the set F plus of all functional dependencies that can be inferred from F. So we are given a set of functional dependencies F. Applying some inference rules, we can infer a set of another functional dependencies, right? And all these together is called closure of F, and it is denoted by F plus. So why we need this closure and the algorithm to find the closure? Typically, the database designers first specify the set of functional dependencies F that can be easily determined from the semantics of the attributes of R, right? Then they will apply the IR1, IR2 and IR3 to infer additional functional dependencies that will also hold on this R. So we need a systematic way to determine these additional functional dependencies. So for that, first we will determine each set of attributes X that appears as a left-hand side of some functional dependency in F. Then we will determine the set of all attributes that are dependent on X. So instead of finding the closure of a functional dependency, we will take the left hand side of that dependency, any of the functional dependency in F, we will take the left hand side, that attribute set, say X. We will find the closure of that attribute set, that is called attribute closure. Okay. So closure of an attribute set is a set of all attributes that are functionally determined by this X. Okay. So determine each set of attributes X that appears as a left hand side of some functional dependency in F. Then determine the set of all attributes that are dependent on X. Now we will see the algorithm to find the closure of attribute set. Input to this algorithm is a set F of functional dependencies on a relation schema R and a set of attributes X which is a subset of R. So we will take each left hand side, each functional dependency, we will take the left hand side of that corresponding dependency. As an initial step, we will assign the closure value as the attribute set itself. X plus is the closure of X. It will be assigned or initialized as X itself by the IR1, right? So any attribute set is functionally determined by or functionally dependent on itself. Using that property, we will assign that attribute set itself as the initial closure value. Then we have to repeat all these steps until the condition halt. So what's the first step? So it's a repeated procedure. So each time after a processing, we will assign the new value of X closure to the old value of X closure. That is the first step. And how we will change the value of X closure? We will take each functional dependency Y to Z. So we have a given set F. From that we will take a single functional dependency, say Y to Z in F. Then we will check whether thus Y is a subset of this X closure. If so, we will add the set, that's the right hand side of this dependency, into this closure. We'll take the union of that also into closure. And this step will be repeated until no more dependency or no more attributes can be added to this closure set. Okay, this is the procedure. So we can see an example for this algorithm. So we are given a relation R with attributes A, B, C, D and E, and from the semantics of these attributes These functional dependencies are so these are the dependencies. A, B determines C, B determines D, C determines E, and D determines A. Okay, so we have to take each and every dependency, and then we have to find the closure of this attribute set. So let us first take the first dependency, that is AB determines C, and we have to take the left hand side, that is AB. So our X is now AB. So you have to find the closure of this AB. Okay, so AB closure. As an initial step, we will assign this AB closure as AB itself, right, by this IR1. Okay, all the attributes in a set is dependent on itself, that is IR1. Now we have to enter into loop. Okay, so as a first step inside the loop, we will assign the old value of this closure as the current value of this closure, that is AB. Now we have to take each and every dependency, right? First dependency we will take AB determines C. So this is of the form Y determines Z. So we will check whether this Y is a subset of X closure. Yeah, it's already a subset of X closure. AB subset of AB, right? So we can add this right hand side, that is C, into this X closure. So now this X closure will be AB union C, that is ABC. Next we will take the second dependency, B determines D. Yeah, B also a subset of ABC. ABC is our X closure, right? Now we can add this D into this X closure. Now this X closure will be ABCD. Next we will take the third dependency, C determines E. Yeah, C is also a subset of this ABCD, right? X closure. So we can add this E also into this closure. Now X closure will be ABCDE. Now take the fourth dependency, D determines E. D is also a subset of this ABCDE. So you can add this A into this closure. Since A is already there, union, there won't be any effect, right? For all the previous iterations, if we check the current value of exclosure and the previous value of exclosure, they were different because we were adding something or some attribute to this closure each time, right? But now after fourth iteration, if we check the current value of exclosure, it is same as the previous value. No more attributes are added, right? So this is the case for exiting the loop. Now the loop is exited, so we can say that the AB closure or the closure of attribute set AB is ABCDE. So this is how we can find the closure of any attribute set. Now let us take another example. So we are given a relation class. These are the attributes: class ID, course number, instructor name, credit hours, text, publisher, classroom, and capacity. And based on the semantics of this relation, we have given 5 different functional dependencies, FD1 through FD5. Okay, now if we find the closure of these attributes, say let us take the first dependency, first class ID. So we have to find the closure of class ID. Applying the closure algorithm, we will get all those attributes as the closure for this class ID. Okay, that is equivalent to the entire relation class. That means the class ID determines all the attributes of this relation. Whereas if we take the closure of course number and credit hours are dependent on course number. And if we take the combination course number and instructor name, the closure will be this much attributes. Okay, so class ID is missing here. All other attributes are there. So the meaning of a closure is that all the attributes in the right hand side is dependent on the attribute set in the left hand side. So if you take the first case, that is class ID, all the attributes in the class are dependent on this. That means we can say that class ID is a candidate key for this relation, whereas this course number and instructor name is not, because one attribute is missing here, right? Next is equivalence of sets of functional dependencies. So we are given 2 different sets of functional dependencies. We have to check whether they are equivalent. Okay, so before moving to that, let us see what is cover. So a set of functional dependencies F is said to cover another set of functional dependencies G if every functional dependency in G is also there in F plus. Okay, so in other words, we can say that if every functional dependency in G can be inferred from F, that is, it is a member of F plus, then we can say that F covers G. Okay. Otherwise, we can say that G is covered by F. That is cover. Okay. So now the definition for equivalence. Two sets of functional dependencies G and F are equivalent if their closure are same. That is, G closure is equal to F closure. Then we can say that G and F are equivalent. That is, every functional dependency in G can be inferred from F, and every functional dependency in F can be inferred from G. In other words, if G covers F and F covers G, we can say that F and G are equivalent. So we can see an example for this equivalence. So we are given two different sets of functional dependency, F and G. F contains this much functional dependencies and G contains these two functional dependencies. Now we have to check whether F and G are equivalent. So what we will do, we will check whether G covers F and F covers G, right? And if both are whole, we can say that F and G are equivalent. Now how will you check whether F covers G or G covers F? Okay, so there is a general method for this. We can say that F covers G. F and G are two functional dependency sets. What we have to do is, we will calculate X closure with respect to F for each functional dependency X determines Y in G. Okay, we have to take every functional dependency in G of the form X determines Y. We have to find X closure, and we have to check whether this X closure includes the attributes in Y. Okay, so we have to find this X closure with respect to F. We are taking functional dependency from G, and we are taking the closure of the left hand side with respect to the second set F. Okay, and we will check whether the right hand side is there in the X closure. And if this is the case for every functional dependency in G, we can say that F covers G. Now coming back to our example. So here let us first check whether G covers F, then we have to check whether F covers G. Okay, so let us start with the check for G covers F, or F is a subset of G closure. Okay, what you have to do, we have to find, or we have to take each and every dependency in F. Okay, and we have to find the closure of those dependencies with respect to G. Okay, so instead of taking this functional dependency closure, we can take the attribute closure. We will consider every dependency of the form X determines Y. We will find the X closure with respect to G, and we will check whether the Y part is there in the X closure. If so, that test can be inferred by G or inferred from G. Okay, so let us take the first dependency, that is A determines C. Okay, so let us take closure of A with respect to G. So we will add CD, right? Using the previous algorithm, we will add CD into this. So already initial value for this closure will be A. Into that, the right hand side of the first dependency will be added. Now it will be ACD. The X closure will be ACD. X here is A, right? So A closure in G we have to find, right? So ACD will be there. If you take this, since E is not a subset of ACD, we cannot add, right? So A closure in G will be ACD. And we can check whether the Y part, what is Y part here? C. C is already there in this ACD, right? So we can say that F1 can be inferred from G. Now let us take the second dependency, that is AC determines D. Okay, now we have to find the closure of AC with respect to G. Okay. So again we have to take each and every dependency. Since A is already there in AC, we can add CD into this. Now the closure will be ACD. What about E determines AH? Since E is not a subset of ACD, we cannot take that, right? So closure of AC plus in G will be ACD. And we can check the right hand side. Yeah, D is there in ACD. So F2 also can be inferred from G. Now coming to the dependency, E determines AD and E determines H. Since the left hand side are same for both, we can take them together. Okay. So our F3 is E determines AD and E determines H. Let us take the closure of this E with respect to G. Okay. So initial value of this closure will be E itself. So let us take the first dependency. Yeah, since A is not a subset of this E, we cannot consider this now, right? So we move to the second one. Yeah, E is already a subset, so we can add this AH into this closure. Now the closure value will be EAH. Now let us consider this dependency. Yeah, A is already subset of this EAH. Now CD also can be added. So closure of E plus with respect closure of E with respect to G is EACDH, which contains what? AD and H, right? So F3 also hold. So we can say that all the dependencies in F can be inferred from G. That means G covers F. So half of the part is done. Now what we have to do? We have to check whether F covers G. That is the second step. Check whether F covers G using the same procedure. Okay, so we have to consider all the dependencies in G and we have to find the attribute closure of these dependencies or attributes with respect to F. Okay, so let us first take this first dependency A determines CD and find the closure of A with respect to F. Okay. So first we will take this dependency. A is already the initial value of A plus or A closure will be A itself, right? So C can be added. Then we will take the second. AC is already subset, so D also can be added. Now it is ACD. E is not a subset, so we cannot take this. So ACD will be the A closure and which includes CD, right? So G1 can be inferred from F. Now the second dependency, that is E determines AH. So we have to find E closure with respect to F. So these two dependency we are going to take now, right? So what about this? Yeah, E is already a subset of this closure, so AD can be added. Now the closure value will be EAD. Yeah, EAD. Again this dependency E is already there, so or E is a subset of this EAD. So H also can be added, right? After that, now the closure value will be EADH. Then we can consider this dependency. A is already there, so C can be added. AC is already there, so or AC is a subset of this closure value. So we can include this D also, right? So the closure of E with respect to F will be EACDH. And this contains AH, right? So G2 also can be inferred from F. So what is the conclusion here? F covers G and G covers F. So we can say that F and G are equivalent. Even though the corresponding dependencies are entirely different, they are equivalent. So this is how we can compute or check whether two different sets of functional dependencies are equivalent. So these are all about this session. Thank you.